How can you get your first client on LinkedIn fast without investing any money, even if you don't have clients and you have zero experience? I'm going to show you the method that I used to get my first 15 clients who paid me anywhere between $3,000 and $7,500, and how you can use the same method to get your first client within the next month. But here's the first trap that most people fall into. If you want to get clients fast, then the worst thing to focus on is actually the thing that most people recommend. And that is creating content. If you have no experience doing your work, your content will lack depth and it will not sound very convincing. People will see through it and they will not engage with it. On top of that, getting clients through content is slow and uncertain, and you need something stable and fast. And if somebody were to hire you and you had pretended so far that you are an expert, and they hire you and they realize that you're not an expert, then you have to keep pretending, and that is really painful to do. Now, instead of posting more content, we're gonna focus on something different. This 4-step outbound method. This is the method I use, and if you complete each step right, you should start seeing great results already after a few weeks of doing this. The first step is getting people to know us, because right now nobody cares what we do. We'll follow a process of finding a person, connecting, messaging, and repeating. And here's how. First, decide on the target audience and start searching for them on LinkedIn. When you find a person that fits, send them a connection request and move on to the next one. You're going to be sending connection requests to about 20 people a day like that, and between 30 and 50% of them will accept your invitation. Now you can massively increase your connection rate. I even got up to 80% if you do the following, and I call it behavioral targeting. You simply find somebody who has high engagement from exactly the same kind of target audience that you want to be attracting, and you send them the following message. Hi name, I saw we're both fans of influencer and his content, would be great to connect on here. Now, not only have you bonded with somebody over content that they find interesting, but also you automatically have something to start talking about after they connect with you. Okay, when you have 5 to 10 connections stacked up, you need to start communicating with them. The important thing to remember is that in this early stage of your business, you don't want to just send them an offer. You don't want to pitch slap them. You simply want to get them to reply and show that you're not a robot. It should look something like this. Hey Matt, are you rested up from the innovation conference yet, or did the martinis take the toll? Otherwise, great to connect, Michael. Your goal is to simply establish a connection and getting them to reply. And within a week, you should have some 5 to 15 conversations going on. Then we're going to move to the second step, getting them interested. Once you've built rapport with the first few questions, then it's time to move on and talk business. Just use a wide topic question like, so how's business? I saw you doing this and that. Now, the main thing that you want to get to at this point is to make them say something that you can hook your offer into. If they complain about something related to your offer, or they highlight a pain point that you could solve, then you've got them hooked. You can offer them your service, right? Wrong. This is a mistake that many people make. They try to close the prospect in the chat. They don't necessarily say, oh, would you like to pay me $5,000 a month to solve this problem for you? No, but they start pitching their offer. They start explaining what is it that they do. And that is wrong, because they will have a ton of questions and doubts about you. And if you pitch too heavily and in too much detail, you're actually running the risk that they will start ignoring you. Instead, you should sort of casually mention that you might be able to help and offer a quick call. This is the third step, getting them on a call. An example of this message could look something like this. The prospect says, well, business is great, but some more clients would actually be helpful. And you say, that sounds like something we might be able to help you with. How about we jump on a call so that we can explore whether there's a fit? Worst case, we'll just get to know each other and I can refer you to somebody who would be a better fit for you. Prospect, sure, send me a calendar link. Now, after you book the call, you just want to make sure that they show up on the call. So make sure to send them the calendar invite, maybe an email with a little bit more background about what you do, but don't send too much because that might destroy the curiosity. A big element of them showing up on a call is curiosity. So don't send too much, but most importantly, send them reminders, especially 1 day and 1 hour before the call. You can also message them personally. If you don't have too many calls booked, just message them personally on LinkedIn. Hey, I'm looking forward to talking to you in 30 minutes time. That's going to make them much more likely to show up, and you can proceed to the next point, closing them. First, the basics. Make sure that you tidy your background, you have good lighting on the call, and that you dress appropriately. I'm in a program where we review a lot of sales calls, and the Zoom recordings that I sometimes see are just dreadful. Some people are like literally in their mother's basement with like clothes, like dirty clothes hanging in the background, and they're like a teenager in a hoodie. Absolutely unprofessional. Like, this really can destroy your chances, even if you are a demon of a salesman. And then how do you actually conduct the call? Don't appear nervous. Now, that's easier said than done, but there's a very straightforward thing that you can do so that you don't appear nervous, and that is prepare. Have a plan. The biggest mistake I see people have on calls is that they are haphazard and they don't have a plan. Nervousness is usually a consequence of 2 things. Number 1 is not being prepared, and number 2 is charging too much for your service. And if you're nervous, chances are that 80% 90% of your anxiety are coming from one of these two things. Here's the thing, you shouldn't try to make money off your first client. The price should be so low that they will close even if they know that you're a complete beginner. The goal with the first client is to get the experience, to do the thing for them, and to maybe, if you're successful, to get a testimonial out of them. That way you can then raise prices and close faster next time. To maximize your chances for closing, just be prepared and avoid charging too much. Don't think about scalability. You will just hand deliver everything to them. Everything is going to be tailor-made. No scaling inside. Chances are, if you do all these steps, you'll be able to do it. Now, you might be thinking, how long do I have to do this before I get my first client? It might sound surprising, but in my experience, it can actually go really fast. Let's say you message 100 people. Out of those 100 people, 10% will book a call and you might close one. You need about 2 weeks to message 100 people and build the rapport so that you can book about 10 calls. And in 1 more week, you can actually close your first client. So basically in 2 to 3 weeks, you can have your first client who's paying you whatever, $500, $1,000 a month for the service that you provide without you having much prior experience. In 2 weeks, you could be $500 or $1,000 richer just by doing these steps and messaging 10 people every day. It's pretty cool. But here's the one thing that could prevent you from doing all of that. Before people connect with you, they usually look at your LinkedIn profile. And if it is near perfect, they might not accept your connection request, which means all of the steps that we went through will not be as effective because we will have a hard time getting people even to step 1, getting them to connect. Now, to avoid this trap, watch this video that I've made about the 9 steps to optimize your LinkedIn profile so that prospects start booking those calls and you start making money off LinkedIn. I see you in the video.